Hi guys, James at Rampant Lion Reviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to stick to Sweden once again. We're going to continue on with this kind of winter series of Swedish beers that I've been doing for you, and this time we are going to revisit Uppsala. So if you remember my review from last time, we are going to revisit Slotskällans Bryggeri, and tonight we're having a taste of their Winter Eco, which literally means winter organic, but this one is described as being a Mörk lager. So basically it's a kind of dunkel or tvarni style beer, and it's been a while since I've reviewed a beer of this style, so it should be quite nice, and I was very impressed with the Svart Porter that I had from these guys before. So quite looking forward to reviewing this beer for you actually. It'll be a nice one to have a taste of. So anyway, as is usual with my beer reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual websites are in the video description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other Slotskällans reviews. I will add more in the future. I've only reviewed one of their beers before, and there's all the usual social media things, Facebook, Twitter and Untappd. Please feel free to connect with me on there. If you want to see more Swedish reviews, do subscribe to the channel, and to my Swedish viewers, I do apologise if I get any of the pronunciations wrong. I'm still learning Swedish since I moved here to Lund, and the pronunciation is one of the harder things, but please don't hesitate to let me know some of the other Swedish beers and breweries that you'd like me to have a look at. I will try my best to get hold of them, and I've been very impressed with the standard of Swedish beer so far. So anyway, to tell you about Slotskällans Bryggeri. As I said, Slotskällans are based up in Uppsala in Sweden, which is to the northwest of Stockholm. Very famous old university town. That's the home of Sweden's oldest university, Lund, Uppsala's university. My university, Lunds Universitet, is down here, and that's I think 150 years younger, but two very, very good universities nonetheless. But this brewery is named after the first water source of Uppsala, and it's right below Uppsala Castle, as you might guess from the name Slotskälen. Slot, of course, is castle. But the brewery was founded in 1997 by Hans Finnel and Jonas Andersson, and the first beers were produced in 1998. But the original company requested bankruptcy in 2003, and at this point the company was taken over by an investor, and today it's owned by Anders Slotte, and it produces around 650,000 litres of beer per year. So only a very short history, this brewery, but quite a turbulent one at that. But just to list the other beers you can get from these guys, you get the Whippa, Rum Quad, Freedom, Rostlager, Svart, Saison, Rock Porter, Uppsala. They've got a wit beer as well, and they've got a double IPA. So there's quite a few interesting beers from this brewery. As I say, they're all organic, and if you go and check out the brewery website in the description below, you can have a look at all of these. I need to try and get a hold of some of the more really to try those. Anyway, that's your little bit about the. Let's get on to this beer now. So here it has a little, and I'll just try.
Complex sweet malt, and it says it's got sorts of malt, all organic, Pilsner malt, Munich malt, Cara malt, Carafa, and I'm not sure what the last one is, roasted corn I think it is, and it says at the side it's got hops from Hallertau, which should be quite nice. So yeah, Hallertau hops and 5 different types of malt. I'm actually getting impressed with my Swedish. I'm recognising a lot more as I'm learning it actually. So as you can see, a really nice label on this one. You can see the northern lights on there. I need to go to the north of Sweden and just see those. That would be really nice. But you can see here on the side, there's the organic label, and there is the Slotskällans bottle cap, and that is of course on the top there too. But this one looks very nice. It says best before the 15th of January actually, and yeah, it should be nice. This one's a 4.5% dark lager, dunkel lager. So without further ado, let's get this guy open and we'll get on with the tasting here. So as you can see, nice kind of smoky opening from this one. A little bit of a fruity ester coming off this beer as you open it up. And that's without paying too much attention to it. But it looks very, very nice beer actually. So yeah, as you can see, this beer is poured a really dark, chestnutty, mahogany colour. There's a half finger of a frothy, kind of beigey tan head there. If I bring the light over, there's a nice kind of slight ruby tint to this beer, but otherwise it is very, very dark actually. If I put my fingers behind it, you can see it's not transparent in the slightest. There's no visible sedimentation in this one actually, which is quite surprising. Sometimes that can be a little bit more prominent in the organic beers, but there's a few big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, and very, very few actually visible
going up towards the bottom of the head. So overall, it looks very nice, and that head, incidentally, is just fading away to be a very thin, foamy layer. So let's have a look at the aroma here. So without kind of shaking it up a little bit, first thing you're getting is a nice big bready character. There's a little bit of nuts in there, some caramel, maybe a little bit of chocolate. But one of the things that is sticking out to me is there is a kind of, if you think about a well-fired loaf of bread, it's got a nice kind of slightly dark, roasted, kind of crusty smell to it, this beer. It smells really nice, so we'll sugar it up a little bit more and just see what else we get out of this. Yeah, you do get just a little bit of red fruity esters coming out of this beer, a little bit like candied fruit. I always say it smells like kind of red, these red Haribo sweets actually. But there's some nice woody and nutty character comes out of this beer. The breadiness, I think, comes out a bit more as you sugar the beer up, but there's a nice toasted caramel in there, bit of sweetness, and just it even comes off, the roasty character comes out a bit more too, so it smells a little bit more like coffee. So yeah, very, very nice smelling beer. So without further ado then, let's get stuck into this beer. So this is the Winter Echo from Slotskällans Bryggeri up in Uppsala in Sweden. Skål! Now that's pretty nice. I have to admit, these could well be the best organic beers I've tried actually. They seem to have a knack for producing really nice organic dark beers, because I've tried two of the dark ones so far, so I need to try one of the light ones next time, but this is a very nice beer. So as I always say, just let your whole palate adjust to the beer before you start dissecting the flavour too much. So this is quite nice. So, with the flavour of this one, the middle of your palate is just blanketed with a big bready malt. One of the things I'm detecting is at the back of the palate, that's where the kind of more toasted bready characters are sitting. You can get that, as I was talking about, you've got that really well-fired kind of crust flavour. It always reminds me of the morning rolls that my dad used to bring in on a Sunday. And it's got a really kind of slightly burnt bread character, and that just sits in the middle of the palate. You get a little bit of dryness from that, and that just spreads out towards the back of the tongue there. It's quite a nice little touch, but there is a little hint of chocolate and a little bit of toasted caramel in the middle of the tongue too. If you just go right down the middle of the tongue, there's some sweet caramel there, as I say, a little bit toasted too, and some sweet chocolate. But the thing that underpins this beer is a nice kind of brown bready character. It's not a kind of sweet brown bread, but it just blankets the middle of the tongue there, and as I say, that dark, well-fired character just moves out towards the back corners of the palate. Very nicely done. And there is definitely a blend of a kind of nutty or woody flavour coming out there too. As I said, there was malts in this. It was Pilsner malt, Munich malt, caramel and carafa, so there is a little bit of coffee flavour in there, I would guess. That's maybe what the darker thing, maybe what the darker flavour is, maybe more of a carafa malt than a sort of well-fired bread thing, but you are getting a lot of bread out of this. You will get that with the Munich malt and with the Pilsner malt. It's a nice blend of flavours, this beer. This one is all about the malt. The hops are just quite subtle here, but you can detect them. And it's quite a distinct noble hop character. As I said, it is Hallertau hops that are in this beer. So at the back corners of the palate, you've got a nice, slightly earthy character there. That's just sitting in the back corners of your palate. You can feel a little bit of the dryness from that. Yeah, and as you come further forward, you can feel a little bit, just a very slight touch of a kind of floral aromaticity, and as you get to the front corners of your palate, that's where it stops, and around the front curve there, you get the nice, smooth, grassy character. It's a typical German noble hop flavour that comes out of this beer. Very, very nice. And I wouldn't hesitate to drink this again. It'd be lovely to try it on tap and just get a little bit of that thicker mouthfeel to it. The one thing with this beer, it's got a beautiful flavour, but for me the mouthfeel could just be a little bit creamier. But I mean, very, very nice. This would be a beautiful cask ale, but I'm not sure if that's such a big thing in Sweden. That's more of a kind of Scottish and English thing to have the cask ales. But yeah, really nice. There's a lot of stuff going on in here. There could well just be a little bit of a red fruity ester in this beer, but not very much at all. If you just go behind the front of the tongue, behind the very front curve, there's a little oily bubble, and there is a little bit of a slightly candied fruit flavour there, but that's very minimal. As I said, it reminds me just a little bit of these kind of red Haribo sweets, the little red hearts, but that's very minimal. This beer is more about the nice big bready malt base and just a little bit of that German noble hop character, but overall the flavour is very, very nice. So in terms of the mouthfeel of this one, I would say this one is light to mid-bodied. It actually doesn't have the same mouthfeel as some of the other organic beers I've had. It doesn't have, usually organic beers for me have this kind of smooth and almost chalky mouthfeel. This one is actually very light and very kind of wet mouthfeel, so it's quite interesting in that regard. Carbonation's a little bit more active as well for me. Yeah, I think that's fair to say. The carbonation does have a little bit of a prickle. There's not too much of it, but you do notice it in this one. Usually the organic beers I've tried before are usually very, very smooth and very kind of chalky in their mouthfeel, as I say, but this one doesn't quite have that, which is quite an interesting quirk. But there's a nice big bready malty character in there. There's a bit of dryness from the malty flavours too, and particularly from the roasted elements of the flavour, but there is a bit of hoppy character. It is quite smooth for the most part, but around the back corners of the palate you do get a nice element of dryness there as well. So overall, this beer is quite dry, but at the same time the mouthfeel is quite wet in the beginning, but then the dryness starts to build in this beer too. But yeah, this is a really nice dark lager beer, and as I say, it's been a while since I've reviewed one of these beers, and you know, very, very good one. I've tried quite a few, tried a lot of the German ones, not so many of the Czech ones. That's something I need to fix. I need to review more Czech beer. But this is a very, very good beer, and the fact that it's organic as well is pretty cool. It's quite different from the other organic beers I've tried before. So yeah, I wouldn't hesitate to try this beer again. If you enjoy the German Dunkel beers, but you like them to be a bit more dark and roasted. Sometimes the German ones are very sweet. This one focuses more on the more dark, roasty characters for me. So if you like dark, roasted beers, perhaps if you want something, if you enjoy porters but you want something a bit lighter, this could be one for you to enjoy as well. It's very, very nice, and I would recommend it to those of you who like the sort of darker, well-roasted flavoured beers. Really nice, and I wouldn't hesitate to try it again. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this beer review. This is another really good one from Slotskällans Bryggeri in Uppsala. I need to go back and review some more of their beers. I'll try and do a lighter style next time, but I think they're kind of a little bit hard to get hold of, but I will try my best. So go and check out Slotskällans Bryggeri from Uppsala in Sweden. If you have tried this beer before, please let me know your own thoughts on it in the video description below. Always interesting to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and I do thank you for watching. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Go and check out the social media things, and I will catch you soon with the next review, and there will be many more Swedish ones for you coming up. So I hope you enjoyed this winter series. Slanja just now.